All right, Coach. Now we're going to be talking about different ways to cover true 3x1 trips. We have a little bit of quarters that we're going to talk about. Excuse me, two high structure, a little bit of cover three structure as well. So take it away on different coverages that we can go with 3x1.
Yeah, so I'm kind of unique in the way that I teach 3x1 coverage. The coverage that I use primarily as a base, I call it stress. It's a little different than most people. A lot of people either are poaching it on the backside, which we'll talk about that, or they run what people call special or stubby to the three receiver side, having the nickel or the Sam outside leverage at two, and you're basically playing cover two, which again we'll get to that in a second. But the very first thing that we want to install in our coverage scheme is quarters. And so from there, it makes sense for us to run quarters when we get trips. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sky coverage, which is quarters, and we're going to stretch it across the three receiver side. So essentially what we're doing is we're uncapping the nickel, or we're uncapping the coverage defender in charge of number two. And instead of moving the free safety into a midpoint or moving him over top of number two and completely pushing the coverage, we want to play true split field coverage. We don't want to kick coverage. We don't want to overload a side, because the moment that you start doing that, you're going to get something back to the weak side.
Right.
The question I always get is the next one is like, well, how are you defending the X receiver if he's a dude? Okay, well, you can't double him if you don't play split field coverage. So what we run is what I call stress, because we've stressed sky coverage. The Mike is now going to hip, and he's going to now remove himself from the box. The nickel is completely moved from the box fit. And what that really means is, and I always start by teaching quads, is that when the running back pushes to the flat and they go four load and they put four receivers out to one side, your nickel cannot take the running back out of the box, because when you do that, you're now a man short. If you get three verticals and you kick the running back out and the nickel nails down on him, now you've eliminated one person from that vertical on that side, even if you are playing some sort of a poach coverage. What we want to be able to do is completely play split field coverage and allow our boundary safety to kind of be what I call post control, or Randa calls it fox the post. We want to have him kind of move into the post if he is not getting something from the X where he's now going to have to nail down on that. That would be like a dig backside or a post backside or a slant or glance backside. So essentially what we're doing, and I'll work from boundary into the box. So our field corner is going to be typical mod rules: man outside or deep on number one. He's king number three, and the reason why everybody's king number three, it's a quick key. We just want to see, are they trying to throw a bubble? Are we getting a quick flash to the flat by number three or number two? Because if that's the case, then everything just turns back into sky. There's really no difference whether if three is unattached and he's in the box next to the quarterback, or he's detached and he's now a complete vertical threat. So our free safety is going to stack number three. Field corner is going to be inside leverage in number one. I tell him, hey, you're going to take a step in and a step back. Really help yourself out. In trips, number one normally is not the one that's going to get the ball unless he's working back inside.
Right.
Okay. The nickel or the Sam is going to have a full cover down because he's now detached from the box. He doesn't have to be in the run fit, and it doesn't really, if he sees anything, it's still just a three push, just like he would in regular sky coverage. The running back is just now a number three receiver out wide. So if we get a quick push, he's going to cough it, meaning he's going to stay high and work low, let the ball bring him down. We call it cough for curl over flat. So cough, curl over flat. We want to hold that curl. Sail technique, because I always get asked, the next question is, after the X question is, well, how are you defending sail? Well, corner's going to take number one vertical, because that's what mod technique does. Safety, the safety is going to push to his new number two and try and cap the sail route while the nickel sails open into the field like a sail, catch wind, and try and midpoint that sail, make the ball go over so your safety can rally. So that's how we typically would play it. Everything plays out just like you would in quarters. You're essentially playing box coverage anyway. The difference is, and this is where people get in trouble with stress, is they try and reverse engineer it into cover 3, or they just want to zone it and they play box. And so that Sam linebacker at about 10 to 12, he falls off of number 2. Well, he's uncapped. He's an uncapped defender, meaning that he has nobody directly over top of him. So he's got to take 2 vertical. He has all of 2 up and he has all of 2 out. The only way he comes off of 2 is if he's called out. So smash rules apply because he's an inside leverage defender. So we are going to run smash. And that's how I differentiate smash rules, is if we have an outside leverage overhang, which is the Sam, we don't do smash rules because he's blind. If we have an inside leverage overhang, we play smash rules because he's working through the hip of 2 and he's looking at 1. So we're quick key for 3. Just if I get a push. If I don't get a quick push, my eyes go directly to 2, and it's catch coverage for that Sam linebacker. I want to beat him up. And he's the key. Who does the offense want to get the ball to in trips coverage? It's usually the number 2 receiver. They want to get him on some sort of a slot fade, some sort of a bender, some sort of Mills route where they're getting the safety to nail down because they know you're playing box or they know you're playing quarters over there. They want that safety to nail down on a dig route, and they're going to run a post behind him. Again, that's where you need to have split field coverage so that that boundary safety can fox the post and he can really nail down and help out anything in the middle of the field. Because most offenses aren't going to run a post with number 2 and then a post with number 1. So they're not going to buy that boundary safety. That boundary safety is going to either get a fade route or some sort of a comeback by the X so that way everything is stayed to the sideline and down and away from that post route or away from that slot fade. So you have to kind of think of it offensively. I think of defense as an offensive coach. How can I take the structure that I've got and maximize the value and buy players where I need them? So that's essentially where stress is. We don't want to nail down on anything underneath 5. So again, going back from boundary in, field corners at 7. He's playing typical off technique mod, just a little bit deeper and a little bit more inside. You've got your Sam linebacker who's going to be inside leverage, and he's going to beat up number 2, taking all of 2 up and all of 2 out. Your Mike nothing's changing for him. He's a wall defender. He's going to match 3. If 3 pushes, he's working at a 45 to try and get underneath a number 2. Okay, and your free safety is capping number 3, meaning he has all of 3 up and all of 3 back. So if we get a dig or we get a post from number 3, he's got to take that back and over the overhang. And that's how I define verticals, is OVO, like Drake says, over the overhang.
Yep.
So the next trips coverage that we have is built again off of our system. We are a base sky team, but what do we do when 2 receivers get close? We want to play some sort of a trap coverage. Or if 3 is constantly pushing, they're trying to get things to the flat. We want to be able to nail down on that. Let's say they're a big quads team. They're running lots of bubbles. We want to now leverage our nickel outside and really block that off and cut that off and not give up any gifts or not give up any pre-snap indicators. So in that case, we need to run some sort of a cloud concept from our 3x1, and that's where the special stubby comes in. Now, I run it a little bit different because I don't change the technique for the corner. We want to give the illusion that we are pressing number 1 and we are Xing him out, but we're really going to play a bail technique and play a soft technique, much like we would mod and stretch. So the corner, all he's doing is working from low to high instead of just staying high. The nickel is now going to move outside leverage, and he's going to play cover 2, or what we call cloud, on 2 and 3. Now, the reason why I don't want the corner completely Xing out number 1 is, again, I think of it in terms of efficiency. If number 1 very rarely gets the ball, or he only gets the ball when he's working inside into zone defenders, I don't want to waste that corner. And so I don't want to also give those offensive guys primarily closer to the red zone an opportunity to run a corner with number 2 or number 3 and outside leverage, especially number 3, and with inside leverage of the free safety and just run away from him for a touchdown. So what we do is we buy that corner back in coverage, and if one goes inside, he's going to zone defenders. I'm not really worried about it. So again, we've taken something that we already rep on a daily basis in cloud, and all we're doing it is applying it to a cover three structure, or a three receiver structure. So now the Sam and the Mike are playing essentially cloud underneath coverage. If 3 pushes, the Sam's going to take it. If 3 goes vertical and 2 goes vertical, Sam's going to take cover 2 vertical just like he would in stress, because again, we have stretched the coverage across 3 receivers. The free safety doesn't change either. He's going to play on top of 3. He's got all of 3 up. He's got all of 3 back. If 3 pushes, he just works to 2. Right? And so we have the same structure. We've just changed leverage. And really, if you break it down in terms of route combinations and you draw this up, it fits the exact same as stress. You're just not going to have smash rules with 1 and 2. So if you get the typical, someone got spread 101 for dummies and they run smash and 3 runs a post and then they run a hitch with number 1 backside, like they basically just ran smash but from 3x1, you're not going to get into trouble with the same linebacker coming off of it. He's going to have to kind of leverage that and not be blind to it. So again, what we've done here is all we've moved is the nickel outside leverage of number 2. And that's really all we've done. So again, when you go in, I'm not trying, and that's the thing that you get. Trips is such a bastard formation. You don't want to start having whole things of like where, well, this is just the only place that we live in our trips universe. And so we're going to completely change the way that we play on normal downs versus normal 2 receiver sets. But then when we get trips, we're going to run something completely different. Like, because I see a lot of teams, they're a true split field team, and then all of a sudden they get trips and now they're a cover 3 team. And so how you have to be expensive somewhere. If you're expensive on the middle field close side, then play middle field close. There's plenty of answers. We're going to talk about them here in a second. If you're a middle field open team, like I generally have been in quarters, then we want to run quarters coverage over our 3x1, but we want to build it off the same rules, because I don't know what the offense is going to come out in. So if they come out in and we get a traditional trip set, we're going to run stress. If they come out and 2 and 3 are close, then we're going to run our stump rules. And so that's where we get it. I still, again, the question about, well, how are you defending the X? Well, we're split field coverage, so I can run anything I want to the X receiver. If the running back, for instance, I always check, where is the running back? When I first introduce trips, I'm always going to do it off of quads. I'm always going to put the running back to the 3 receiver side so I can teach the quads push first. That's the most difficult thing to handle. Then I'm going to put it to the back side. And when I'm breaking down an offense, I'm looking at that when the back is weak. Why is he weak? Okay, why are they putting him weak? We all know the quads is really good for the snag RPO, the quads push, sprint out, all of that great stuff, or to run weak because I'm kicking my safety front side. So why are they putting the running back weak? Are they doing it because it's essentially empty and it's 5 out every time? Are they trying to get us with speed option weak? Are they trying to get us with some sort of run weak? Are they trying to then hit something in an isolated box up the middle so that the mic is completely removed because we've leveraged him outside? So I'm always looking for that, and a split field secondary, especially in trips, gives you an answer with the boundary safety. If you're constantly kicking coverage, you're going to get a back weak and you're not going to have an answer. Your will linebacker, since he's going to have, or your outside linebacker, however you're structured, is going to constantly have to buy that running back somewhere. And I don't want that. I want to have regular quarters, 4-2-5 fits, regardless of what we're in. And so, again, to go back to that X question, how are you handling it? Well, we're split field coverage. So it doesn't matter what we're running front side, I can do that back side. If the running back is constantly going out, we can run cloud over that. So we can take our 2 receiver sets, and it doesn't matter. I think coaches get in trouble when they don't look at it in a way of formationally, right? You can only have 5 receivers out. There's a number 3 receiver. There's a midpoint in the coverage at all times. So where are they putting that running back to create a 2 receiver set or a 3 receiver set? Is it 3? Is it a bunch? Is it close? That's kind of where you have to, as a coach, what are dirty bunches? What are these dirty stacks that people like to get into, like nub tied in with a running back to the same side? That's a stack. If you don't treat that the exact same as a stack, you're going to get eaten alive. We see this on Saturday and Sunday all the time, especially with the nub tied in stuff. For whatever reason, it's really difficult for coaches to handle. So you want to teach that almost like a stack, and being able to play split field coverage allows us to do that. I can also play with the boundary safety off of that, depending on what the back is doing. If they're a big sprint out team, they're a big speed option to the trip side, they're everything's going to the quad side, then we can kick the safety back, especially if I can handle the X receiver. Or are they overloading everything because they want me to kick? So again, these are questions that you have to look at, but I always want to build answers for the kids. And so we can run cloud, we can run cone, which is a double to the X, and we lock the will linebacker on the running back. We can do all of these things out of a split field universe that you can't necessarily do if you are always and always this and we're always that to any side. So our 2 main ways to play trips is going to be stress, which is sky or quarters, and then we're going to play what I call stump, which is our cloud concept, also in the same family as special and stubby. Those are things that coaches tend to have the same language for.
All right, Coach, so looking at this stump coverage, 4 verts, is that something that stresses this defense too? Because I know that nickel being outside leverage, that puts him compromised a little bit if he does get 4 verts. What other than that, like what would stress this coverage?
Yeah, and that's really the thing is 4 verticals. That's what you're basing everything off of anyway. That's why I don't like a midpoint. I want to have number 3 covered. Your overhang typically is going to be more or less a hybrid player. He should be able to play decently into coverage. And I've done this, for instance, when I was at Midlothian, we didn't have an outside linebacker that was really a hybrid player. And so we never played him outside leverage. Any DB coach will tell you cover 2 is one of the hardest things to teach to young DBs because your eyes have to be right. You have to know when to break, how to carry a vertical. And so it's difficult. So that's why I always build with stress, because for stress, if you have an outside linebacker that's not really a hybrid player, he's more or less a box backer, what's really easy for him? Beat up a receiver, punch the inside hip. That's what he's doing. He's a wall player in most of your coverages anyway. Right, so why would you not teach something? It's something else. So yes, cover 4 typically is going to be stressed with Mills concepts. You're going to get anything where you get a high-low vertical option set. But the 4 verticals is kind of worst case scenario. And so if we get 4 verticals, really what we're trying to do is force everything outside, everything deep and outside. Now in this, what we really want is that free safety to stay high as much as he possibly can, and that Sam linebacker again has to beat everything up. And if it's going to be some sort of a slot fade, it's got to be skinny, and he needs to make sure that thing funnels to the middle of the field. So it looks on paper, it looks like okay, you're kind of in trouble with 4 verts, but again, what you're trying to do is leverage space. If I'm getting 2 receivers close together, we're going to run stump. So I'm getting some sort of a switch off of that to begin with. So I'm not anticipating 4 verticals. If we get a traditional 3x1 set, we're running stress, which means now I'm forcing everything deep and outside. I've got the inside leverage. My Sam linebacker is in a typical coverage position for himself. And so now that's typically where you're going to get the even spacing and 4 verticals. So we've kind of set that up in the way that we defend trips to handle that. That's not really ever been an issue unless they just got a guy that's just better than one of our players. The last one in the quarters universe is solo or poach coverage, kick coverage, however you want to defend it. And all we're doing is we're pushing the coverage. Okay, we're shoving the coverage over. Now, you always have to be cognizant when you teach solo coverage, you have to make sure that boundary safety is using some sort of a cheat technique, that he's not kicking over there right away. Most good coaches that teach this are going to have a cheat technique, which means he's basically going to kind of shuffle for 3, reading the mesh and reading kind of is 3 vertical. It's a little bit more difficult when you get a 10 personnel set. And you're kicking him out into space. He kind of has to go ahead and move over there. But what you don't want to get in the habit of is you're going to get speed option weak once they start seeing that. You're going to get Q ISO weak, Q power weak. You're going to get something weak. And so you have to understand that that's what you're going to get. So you need to make sure that your inside linebacker that's responsible for the running back is leveraged correctly, primarily when the back is set weak. And then your boundary safety, who's kicking the coverage, he needs to be very patient, and he needs to have his feet in the ground so that if it is a quick run, let's say it's speed option or whatever, he can almost be a double alley player. He can work back to that alley. This is also why I don't like setting the 3 technique to the trip side or to the passing strength. I want to build that 3-5 wall away from it so I can, 1, get a cover down to the number 3 receiver, but 2, I can have a defensive end that can at least leverage the outside shoulder of the quarterback, string some things out so that my players can rally back there, understanding that we're getting that kick coverage. I think that's the important thing. The great question again is, how are you helping out with the X? Well, anytime that you're playing solo coverage, you can't ask that safety to then double back on that X receiver. He's directly going into the post. If it doesn't work out, then he's just going to close the post. So you'll have help on a post route, but you won't have help on any kind of underneath or a fade route. If that's the case, again, setting the 3 technique away from the 3 receivers allows you to give a swipe tag to your defensive end. I know everybody right now is kind of in this weird hybrid. Yeah, I'm a 4 down front or I'm a 4-2-5, but I'm trying to run some odd front stuff. This is a great way of doing that, of cutting. We call it a cut technique or a swipe technique, where you take that D in and he cuts to the number 1 receiver underneath, allowing the corner to play high. So it's kind of like a drop 8 concept. So these are things that you can do that you have to be constantly aware of. Now, if that's not an issue for you, you have a great boundary corner. You know, I was talking to a coach the other day about this. If you have a boundary corner, it unlocks your whole entire defense.
Yeah.
I mean, ask anybody that's ever had a dude at boundary corner. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. If I can lock down that X, I literally can take that boundary safety and I can just answer problems wherever I want. And I can put him wherever I want because it doesn't matter, because I know he's going to be, 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10, he's going to handle the X receiver. So you got to ask yourself, 1, where's the dudes on offense? And 2, can I handle the X alone? If you can't handle the X alone, then you probably don't need to be running solo coverage. Okay, and we typically will run solo only versus a tight end set because it's an easy fix for that. The boundary safety is already doing that with Y off, so we don't want to. We call it a poach technique because it's a flat foot. It's not a cheat, which is solo, because we call it solo because we're telling the corner, hey, you're by yourself. So to me, I think there's got to be a difference in the way that you teach it, but those are really typically the 3 ways. I would only run solo to 10 personnel if we're getting a bunch of quads pushes, or we're getting a lot of like 4-man concepts to the trip side. That would be typically when I would run solo versus 10 personnel. Normally, we're going to keep it a base way of playing 11 personnel, or just because of the proximity. The boundary safety doesn't have to play with space. Again, I don't want to give up gifts, and I don't want to give up anything to where that safety has to really kind of slam over there quickly, because they're like, again, against a Bryles system or an Uber split system, having that guy solo, you're in a lot of trouble. He's basically going to have to cross the A. Yeah. And I, working at a school for 3 years that did the flex bone, I'm really afraid of moving that safety across the center midpoint. Because once you do that, you've completely changed the math to the backside. And how are you combating that? So you really got to be careful. This is why I go over it last, because it's kind of like it's an answer or a tool, but not necessarily, what you're getting into every single day. It's not necessarily in your ecosystem that you're doing every day.
All right, Coach, now we're going to be diving more into the middle close looks of the defense. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how we can do more single high stuff?
Yeah, I think if you teach quarters, it's inherently weak rotation anyway. So using your boundary safety first as a tool to be able to do different things. So when, again, I talked about you have to be expensive somewhere. I've typically been expensive on the middle field open side or quarter side. So therefore, we need to have like or similar things that I can then go back to, and we can relate back to the cover 3 world or the middle field close world. So I'm not wholesale changing anything. The biggest thing with trips is your 3-up player. Okay, your 3-up player is always going to be the third low defender in. So you're going to have your nickel outside number 2. You're going to have your Mike stacked on number 3, and then you're going to have your will linebacker, who's going to be your 3-up player. That defender right there, you have to ask yourself, can he carry number 3 vertical? If he can't carry number 3 vertical, then you need to be playing 6 cross. So what I call 6 is just weak rotation, 3 is strong rotation, 6 is weak rotation. And what I'm doing out of 6 cross is that I'm actually going to take that boundary safety and I'm going to move him into the 3-up position. Now my will linebacker will be the first to flat or the 4th defender or the 4th receiver. So now what I've done is I've alleviated a lot of pressure on that inside linebacker to carry the number 3 vertical. And this is primarily what you're going to see in trip sets, is if that number 3 is a speedy guy. We saw this, the best example of this is the Ohio State-Alabama game from a couple years ago. Poor tough Borland had to cover Devontae Adams, who's a Heisman Trophy winner, 3 vertical all game, and it just didn't work out. So how do you combat that? You take a DB, which is your boundary safety, and you just move him in. If you are already running quarter systems, you probably have a steal concept within your system. That's all this is that now we're pushing the will. He's now going to take the running back to the flat. If the running back pushes to the 3 receiver side, he just then hinges open and is collecting any kind of cross. He's just working the vertical hook, taking anything, whether it's a shallow cross. And really, he doesn't have to get up to a deep cross because that would be the final 3. So he's really just looking for any kind of shallow cross, whether they're running some sort of drive concept or anything else like that. So that boundary safety is essentially using that steal technique that you've already taught in your quarters, except for he's now hinging and he's looking for any kind of deep cross, any kind of 4 vertical, any vertical at 3, anybody coming into that vertical set into the middle of the field. And what that allows you to do is it allows that middle safety or your field safety, free safety, whatever you want to call him, he now can really climb and he can stay high. And so I think if you are already in kind of that special stubby universe, doing some sort of a cover 3 is easy because you already are an outside leverage team with the nickel, and so now you're just telling that free safety, hey, you know how in cover 2 you want to pedal deep, yeah, just kind of pedal deep but pack in on the middle of the field, and then that boundary safety is gonna, hey, we're just putting steel back into that, and now your will linebacker can now push to the running back. And so I think to me that's a great way and a good compliment to start, is how can we get this, but yet I'm not wholesale, just kicking the coverage that way. This is a great way of doing it, especially if you're getting a lot of these deep crossing routes from the trip side, which a lot of people are getting these days.
Yep. And then, Coach, on the backside of it, talk a little bit about what we're playing on the backside.
Yeah, so the backside is essentially you're buying that will in the slant zone. Again, if they're playing a lot of games backside where you're getting slant flat or you're getting some sort of 2-man game backside, remember that will's a no cover zone is 5 yards. So we really don't want to nail down on any negative route. Don't take the bait of the running back so that you can hang in that, I call it that glance area, that glance window. He really needs to be in that vertical hook and kind of work that cough technique of working laterally deep in that window so you're not getting that. The corner, again, is essentially locked up. Cover, and here's the deal. At some point, your boundary corner is going to have to play man on the X receiver. He has to understand that he's going to have help underneath and inside, but he's not going to have any kind of help deep. So he's got to make sure that he understands that. He wants to force that fade. He wants to force everything outside and deep. And then again, the will is essentially working off of the back. If he goes flat, he's going to take it first. If he stays in the down or he works opposite, then he's going to take that fourth receiver coming across the field on a shallow. Because remember, your boundary safety is the high hole player, and he's going to take 3 up.
Right. And I love how you describe that cough technique, because I think from a defense perspective, just understand what the offense is trying to do to us. And I believe you said this in the previous video with us, is if I'm jumping a bubble or I'm jumping a flat route, like there's a reason. Offenses don't want to throw that, right? They're using that as bait, essentially to get you to fly up. That way they can open up a window behind your head. So I really love the way you describe it, of like working laterally before actually committing and not just running your face off to a running back that's flaring out because you're opening up a window behind you.
Yeah, that's always a big thing, especially, and again, it goes back to the quads push that we talked about at the very beginning. They want you to take that Sam linebacker and nail down on him, even though he doesn't need to. The Mike linebacker nail down on him. Look, I've never been afraid of push motions or the flare motions, behind motions. Yeah. The offense doesn't want to throw 7 yards deep behind their line of scrimmage.
Right.
They don't want to do that. Now, if you obviously are not moving anybody with it or you're not leveraging anybody with it, you don't have your guys zoning over it, then you've created your own issue at that point. But I've never been a big person that has been like, oh, we really need to move a lot of pieces when we get these motions. It's no different than if post-snap that guy's pushing. They're just doing it pre-snap to see if you're going to open up a window. That's why we teach cough technique. Don't take the bait. Don't take those negative routes. So once 6 cross is typically where you're going to start. I think that's where quarters and cover 3 meet together, and I think that's kind of that gray area of, hey, it's kind of the same concept. We're kind of teaching the same thing. I'm just tweaking a few things. So if you're in the quarters universe, 6 cross is really easy. What the next one that I like to teach again is I have a pretty athletic inside linebacker that can run. I've been blessed with being at several spots where I've had a kid that can run, so we could kind of do some different things with him. Well, if that's the case and your will linebacker can play 3 up, or the number 3 receiver is a tight end half the time, or he is, school board's kid that he's just playing, because, dad's on school board, then, look, we're not going to change anything. And so what I can do is, hey, they got a really good running back. Because I get this all the time. It's like, well, I'm in a league with really good running backs. I'm not in a league with really good receivers. Okay, well, if you need to put a DB on a running back, the best way to do that, especially if they want to set him weak, is 6 skate. All skate is that we're skating down. We're sinking down. I'm going to slam down or sink down. Typically, you don't want to slam down because then you get the glance routes. I want to sink down post-snap, and I want to be outside leverage working outside in. So all we've done essentially is the will now is the 3-up defender, and the boundary safety is now your 1st to 4th defender. So he's taking 1st to the flat, or he's taking the 4th person across. This is also really good when you're getting a lot of concepts where they're trying to run somebody really fast on a shallow route. So like maybe it's their number 2 receiver, and they're constantly running him on some sort of a shallow route or a mesh route. And then now I need a DB that can handle him on the other side. This is a great complement for that. Again, it keeps your free safety high. It doesn't change anything really for your nickel. He's still taking number 2 up and out. Your Mike is just going to be the strong hook defender. He's a wall builder, just like you typically would. Right. And your will linebacker now is the one that has to be the run-through player. He's now the 3-up player. And your boundary safety can now take anything low and quick, or take the running back to the flat, especially if you're getting, running back to the flat to the boundary tends to be a popular way that teams are trying to get to the back. I think that's something at the high school level we're going to start seeing. The NFL and college level have started to figure out we need to start passing more to the running back. We need to just go ahead, especially with everybody playing more and more too high coverage, regardless of whether it's middle field close or middle field open, that we need to start throwing to some of these underneath defenders, telling those, turning the quarterback into Charlie check down. So you've got to be able, especially when we start getting backs that are kind of receivers. And nowadays, I think with high school, everybody's playing 7-on-7. So these running backs are used to catching the ball all summer. And then why would you not throw them the ball in the regular season? I think we're going to start seeing that to be more of a trend at the high school level. This is a great answer for that, primarily to the weak side. Or if we're getting a lot of concepts to where I'm getting a quick guy, maybe number 3 is just, again, a tight end or school board kid, but number 2 is that speedy guy, and they are constantly trying to run him across the field. This is a great way to put a skilled athlete on a skilled athlete and cut him off where they're trying to hit the ball. So the final one is 3 buzz. Typically, you're going to see this. I would run this in a 2-back set or Y-off formation, but you can do this in 3-by-1 primarily if you're getting a lot of, let's say we're getting a lot of zone with a snag tag on number 3. We were running a bunch of too high, too high, too high. Mike's kind of cheating into the box. They kind of hit us on it. They're getting that 5-yard gain. They're feeling good about themselves. Next thing you know, I slammed the safety down on top of that. That's a great compliment to that, especially in 3 open. So if I got trips and I'm getting a lot of snag tags by number 3, 3 buzz is a great way to do that. Again, I'm pushing everything over. Mike is going to have to take the vertical of 3. What you want to teach and to help that Mike out. So if worst case scenario, you get a 3 vertical, you will have a boundary safety capping anything in the middle of the field. So the way that I teach 3 buzz is almost like solo. I'm teaching that boundary safety. Yeah, you're getting depth and you're closing the post. But if 3 comes naked through the middle of the field, you've got to help your Mike linebacker out. I think 3 buzz is a safe way of charging the snag. But if they go stutter go or they go with an actual 3 vertical set, we're still going to be okay because that Mike linebacker is going to have somebody over the top of him. So even though the Mike does have 3 up, he's going to have the boundary safety working that way with vision. It's not like the will in 6 skate where safety slamming down, free safety's right in that front side hash. He's packing in, but he's not going across. So it's not like the will who's now, oh crap, I've got to really rotate with that guy, and all the quarterback has to do is throw him open. So I think 3 buzz is a safe way to overload that front side and really kind of nail down on anything that you're getting, whether you're getting the slant by number 2, and you want somebody, and they're running all slants, or they're running all hitches, or they're running kind of that zone snag concept, that RPO that everybody does out of trips. As I get that asked all the time, well, how are you defending that? Well, the Mike should be pushed out of the box anyway, and so we should have somebody there. But if that's something where they constantly are like pushing that guy a little further out, and the Mike's kind of in no man's land, and they're kind of hitting us in the box, and I want to let the Mike kind of slam into the box, and I slam the safety down, give him a change up. I think 3 buzz is a great way to do it. I think it's a good coverage on early downs versus teams that are trying to hit you on that soft spot right there, especially if you're a bracket team, which a lot of high schools aren't a bracket team. But if you are a bracket team, 3 buzz is a great compliment on early downs to kind of show them, hey, we're not just going to let you roll out the front side right there. Again, good versus 3 open, because now I've put an athlete on an athlete instead of my Mike linebacker trying to chase that speedy slot in the middle of the field. And I still feel comfortable doing it because I have that boundary safety working to close the middle of the field with vision in case 3 were to get free through the middle of the field and my Mike just can't run with them.
Now that we just finished up with Cody Alexander, we highly recommend you check out this other video we did with Cody on bunch alerts, 2-read, bracket coverages, and much, much more. Click here to view it. We'll see you next time.